Hi everyone. I wanted to start today by showing you how to download data and use a scale in Qualtrics. So the first thing you would need to do is to log into MySGSU and log into Qualtrics. And once you log into Qualtrics, you'll see a list of all your projects. In my situation, I have a ton of projects. So we're just going to use the survey that I did in last spring with my whole section. So when you first log in, you'll see your actual survey. And what you want to do is go over to data and analysis. And in order to analyze the data for a scale, what you would do is you would go to export and import over here. So there are two different ways to import or export your data. So the first thing you'll want to do is use the CSV. And there are two different ways of doing it. You can see choice text or numeric values. And I suggest first downloading the data using choice text. What that means is that you're going to get a Excel spreadsheet that includes the actual questions and the actual answers that people gave you. And I find this the easiest way to start. Okay, so once you've downloaded it, it'll just pop up like this and you'll just click open it. Now, you might get freaked out when you see all these hash marks, but let me just show you what you do. You expand that and you can see that actually those are just numbers. And the reason they're hash marks is because you don't get the whole answer in the one space. Okay, so don't be freaked out when you see that. So this shows me the start date. So someone took this survey on March 21st, 2018 at 5:24 p.m. and they finished. Oh my God, this person went so quickly. Oh, I see, it's a survey preview. But basically you see what you can do with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll over to where I have a scale. Okay, so these are all the different questions I have. So if you look here, it says Q2, so that means it was the question 2. That question was, what is your gender? And then here were the answer options. Okay, so this question Q3 was, what is your age? And this person selected 18 to 20, this person 24 to 26, and you see. So the nice thing about the choice text is it gives you the actual the text of the answer choice and the text of the question. So I'm going to go over here to where I have a scale. Okay, so this group used a scale to measure, I think this was anxiety, and they identified the scale questions. It's question 32, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and these were questions that all took the same form. Okay, and students could answer in a range from 0, which means not at all, to 1, several days, 2, more than half the days, 3, nearly every day. And I think that was it. Maybe there's a 4. No, I don't think so. Okay, so when I have this, what I have with the choice text is I have kind of just what all the questions were, and I can keep that straight, okay? So now that I have that and I understand what row has each thing, I'm actually going to pop over and I'm going to download it a second time. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before, export data, but this time I'm going to click this and say use numeric values. Okay, so I'll click download and it'll pop up over here, click it, and there, okay? So again, we have all these hash marks. Don't be stressed by it. What you see here is that instead of having words like female or male, I now have 2 and 1. Okay, and Qualtrics automatically assigns values to each of the survey options. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down over to the end, which was where my scale was. So what I like to do is kind of align them up together so I can see them side by side. So I just have like a little check. I know what it was that I was looking for. So here, just gonna scroll it over. So I have AV, AW, AX, AY, AZ, BA, and BB. which were my scale questions. And actually, I'm just going to highlight it so that it's easy for me to find when I need them. Okay. I'll just close that up so I don't take up too much space. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to make it smaller so that I can fit it up nicely next to my other one. Okay. And what I have are a V here, a W, a X, a Y, a Z, B, A, and BB. Okay, so I'm going to highlight those two so I just know exactly what it is that I'm working with. Now, the first thing I want to check is what did qualtrics do to my numbers? So here, instead of a 0, it put a 1. Okay, and row 6, instead of a 1, it put a 2. Okay, here, 2, more than half the days, went to 3. Okay, so when qualtrics assigned the numbers, it didn't actually do it the way that I wanted to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all the cells, and I'm going to go up here where I can make a find and replace. I'm going to put everything that says 1, I want to replace it with a 0. Replace all. And it did all those replacements. And now I'm going to replace everything that says 2 with 1. Okay. I'm going to replace everything that says 3 with 2. And I'm going to replace everything that says 4 with a 3. Okay. So now I have the data and it's scaled the way that I want it to be. Okay. And so I'm just going to kind of go through quickly, taking a look, and what I see is that I only have the numbers that I want to have. Okay. So the way that you create a scale, first of all, I don't need this information. This question, I don't really want to be there. So I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to use this to delete it. Okay. And then this is actually just kind of the tail end of this question, so that'll disappear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new row here that I'm going to call total anxiety scale score. Okay. And my total anxiety score, I'm going to make a formula. Okay. And all I want to do is add up each person's numbers. Okay. So I can use the sum, and look, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Okay, so this is the equation here. Okay, so it's equals and then SUM, then parentheses. So AV is the first column that I want, and it goes to BB. Okay, and so what I can actually do then is just copy it. So I'm doing Control C to copy that cell, and then drag it down the whole way, okay? And so here I go up to my very last participant, and I'm pasting, okay? So right here, I have every person in my entire study's total anxiety score, okay? So this is how we get the total anxiety score. Now, some scales tell you what their cutoff points are, okay? So I can't remember for certain what this anxiety scale score really is, but I'm just going to act as though I know what it is. So what I would then want to do is I might want to just sort to see like how many people have different levels. And so one thing I can do is I can select all and then go over here to sort. I'm going to do a custom sort, and I'm going to sort the value on BC, which is the total anxiety score, which, because I just made it, it's my very last column. Okay, and I'm going to start from the smallest value to the largest value. Okay, so that's going to arrange this in order of anxiety. And so what I can see here, if you click on if you drag the cursor over in this area here, watch what comes up. So if I drag it over, you'll see it goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what this is doing is it's counting how many rows. So that's counting how many people have this level of anxiety. So I have, and now it's actually down here. Okay, so I had 41 people with a 0. And then I had a couple people with 1s. But let's say my cutoff is 6, okay? So I'd have 78 people with between a 1 and a 6, okay? And then I have between 7 and, say, 7 and 12, I have 56 people. Between 13, 21, I have 52 people. Okay, so it might be that there's a specific cutoff. So I would guess that something like over, for this scale, given the number of questions, maybe over a 7 means low anxiety. And then if you get to over 13, that's high anxiety, okay? Or maybe just people in their 20s. So what you've done here is you've used 7 questions to get to a single scale item, okay?